Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with the Higher Vibrational Podcast with weekly guests, covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to SherryLord.com for more info. Hi, I'm Sherry Lord, the host of the Sherry Lord Show. Thank you for joining us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. And if you want to be a guest on my show, please email me at sherrylordpodcast@gmail.com. That is SHERRYLORD podcast@gmail.com. We love to have you on our guests. Please email me and let me know why you're a good fit and what you offer and how you help the people. And we would love to have you on our show. And we also love to promote you. We also have ads for anybody who wants to place an ad. They're very reasonable, but all our ads are paid ads. And we have a very special guest today, and we're so excited to have her. She's here in Venice, Florida, and we just love her. And this is Reverend Leslee Ellenson. Hi, how are you, Leslee? So happy to have you
time
on our show.
Thank you for having me on today. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, we just love having you. And I just love when we met, and it was just like the right connection. And, you know, and you're also part of a Unity church too. So what I want to know and what our audience wants to know is, tell me about yourself and how you became a Unity Reverend. So tell us a little bit about your story and your journey and what led you to this.
I would be happy to. I would say that I started out on my spiritual journey at age 7. I was an only child living out on Long Island, New York. I spent a lot of time in the woods, in the forest, talking to the animals, hanging out, being a nature child, and psychic phenomena began to occur. Little things, something in the forest would sort of kind of talk to me. I fell down on a bicycle one day, and I was in a gravel field, and I looked at it, and I realized that all the gravel laying in the road, for as far as I could see, was like consciousness. It was like individual planets that were out there. And I was only 7, and I didn't know anything about all this woo-woo stuff, but I had the idea that consciousness was so prevalent, I would say these days, ubiquitous, that there's nothing that is conscious. And I came away from that thinking, I need to figure this out. In a lot of ways, I am like the character in that movie, Harrison Ford, and it's the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. And the woman, you know, scientist says, I want to know, I want to know. And I became that person, and I started asking my mom crazy questions. Mom, who lives in the stars? Are they more than one dimension? Where do we go when we die? Why does it matter what sign you are in the zodiac? Who knows the difference? And I started this quest for esoteric knowledge. And it was so addicting. It still is. It's my whole passion. So I got into all the books at the time on reincarnation and anything that was out there. But I had a mom who used to allow me, and in fact insist, that I stay up at night and watch the Twilight Zone. She wanted me to think way outside the box. She was way ahead of her time. And she also had psychic phenomena going on around her. So, you know, we thought we were just perfectly normal, involved in the world. And I realized other people, not so much. So I began a lifelong journey into books. And growing up in New York, back then, we had Weiser's Metaphysical Bookstore. And I was in there one day, and I asked the store, like the consciousness of the store, what should I read? And a book fell off the top shelf, literally their very top shelf, hit me on the head. It hurt. And I picked it up, and it was Madame Blavatsky's Secret Doctrine, Volume 1.
Wow.
And stuff like that happens to me all the time. I find my way. So I've always followed the phenomena. I've always followed spirit. And I grew up Lutheran, and that was okay, and that was fine. But I knew there was so much more.
Yeah.
And I studied Hinduism, Buddhism, Siddha yoga, Baha'i for a while, all these things, Judaism, Catholicism. I looked into everything. And then I discovered the Unity movement, which is very much practical Christianity, first century Christianity, before the Church of Rome. And then Constantine corrupted it all. And we go back to the basics, but we interpret it metaphysically. What does it actually mean for me? What is the spiritual significance behind the parables? Not just the social story, but the deep spiritual thing. And these days, I include anything to do with quantum physics, quantum mechanics, any of that, quantum entanglement. The consciousness of the human mind is quantum, and we are learning that. And so we live in a time where sciences, the advanced sciences that we now have, are beginning to confirm all of the spiritual truths that ancient seekers were trying to document and teach in private.
Wow, that's an amazing journey you've been on and fulfilling. The next question I have for you is when, where, and how did the Unity movement begin?
Okay. To understand the Unity movement, which is a new thought movement, and that's a phrase, you can Google, what is new thought? New thought was an emerging desire for spirituality that arose after the American Civil War in this country. And it started off with people like Phineas Quimby. I'm sure that's a name no one's heard of on here. He was active in the 1840s, and he was pioneering thought, mind control, and health. In other words, health from how you think. That movement took off, and it went into Christian Science, which started with Mary Baker Eddy in the early 1860s, 1870s. And then the Divine Science movement caught on, 1885. And then the Unity Church movement, we weren't always called a church, but the Unity movement took off in 1889, and we are, as I said, practical Christianity. A married couple founded Unity, actually by accident, Myrtle Fillmore and her husband, Charles Fillmore. Myrtle Fillmore suffered from tuberculosis, and it was a death sentence for her, they thought. She got into this new thought, mind over matter, thinking, saying things like, I am perfection, I am wholeness, I am health. We sometimes say in Unity, we pray from the other side of the problem. We don't go, please God, heal this ailment. Oh, that's ridiculous. You'll just get more of that ailment. You go to the other side. I now see myself in perfection, wholeness, and health. That which I had before is gone. I am manifesting nothing but my own radiance. And if you do that, you begin to heal anything in your life you want to heal. So Unity took off that way. In fact, we actually say that Myrtle Fillmore founded the religion, and Charles Fillmore came along and documented it and wrote many, many books based on what she was doing. We kind of say Myrtle Fillmore is to Jesus Christ what Charles Fillmore is to the Apostle Paul, only we don't buy into the Pauline philosophy. We are actually before that. We're actually first century Christianity, not what came after that. After Unity got going, the International New Thought Alliance out of England really took off, still exists. And then religious science, with Ernest Holmes came along in 1927, and his book, The Science of Mind, which is a must read even in this day and age. In Unity, we read everything. It's not Unity only. No, we read everything in New Thought. And then recently, the Science of Mind, religious science actually, turned into Centers for Spiritual Living, CSL. And so CSL and Unity are about on an even par these days, bringing information. So the Unity movement actually began out in Kansas City in Missouri, and we still have Unity Village there. And we have our silent unity. Anybody for over 120 years now can call, text, email nowadays to silent unity with a prayer request. And for all of that time, there has always been 1 or up to 10 or even 12 people either in the room or during COVID from their homes, remotely praying with people. There has never not been somebody in the silent unity tower praying. And many people call, multiple faiths, people from all over the world. And you may be familiar with a little booklet that Unity publishes that a lot of people get in their house. We get a lot of booklets that get published out there. So we actually have many booklets. Some of them are by different churches. Yeah, the Daily Word is the main one that came out. And the Daily Word is each day of the month. You get it monthly. Well, it's actually published for 2 months. It's enough for 2 months. And it gives you all the prayers and a Bible verse. It's very, very sweet. So there's a real sweet side to Unity, and there's a very advanced quantum physics, deep metaphysical side. It's funny, we talk to ourselves, are you the sweet side or are you the deep metaphysical side? I'm the deep metaphysical side.
Oh my goodness. Now that I understand that Unity is part of a New Thought movement, what exactly does that mean, and how extensive or prevalent is the New Thought movement today? So how's it evolved?
Yes, the New Thought movement is where it's at right now. If you want to do traditional Christianity, if you want to do Catholicism, fine, go do it. But if you want to find out the secrets of how the mind works, neurobiological training, how we can really entrain our minds, how we can use quantum entanglement in thought to really manifest our best and highest self through breathing, through prayer, proper prayer, through meditation, then you want to be in a New Thought movement. We really are the cutting edge of the psychology of the spiritual path.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm really glad we have you on our show, because a lot of people need to understand the choices they have as well, and where they are and what they're being aligned or guided to or change, where they are evolving with their own consciousness. So I think it's a really good welcoming there. And the other question I have is, how is it different from the Roman Catholic and other Protestant faiths? So how's it different?
Great question. Let me explain how the early church got formed with Emperor Constantine in the early 300s, because that's where the answer is. There was a bishop, hard name here, Bishop Athanasius out of Alexandria. He was courting the favor of Emperor Constantine. At the same time, his rival was a rector, Arius, and he had a different view of who Jesus was. And each one of them was allowed 5 private audiences with Emperor Constantine to plead their case for what the religion of the Roman Empire should be and what the tenets of belief should be. So it was a big friggin' deal. I mean, this has impact to this day.
Yeah.
On the night before the 5th time that Arius was to speak with Constantine, he was murdered.
Wow.
Murdered, poisoned. Yeah. And Athanasius went before Emperor Constantine and said, ta-da. And the Roman Empire's attitude was, if you feel strong enough to murder for it in the style of Rome, you must really believe it. And so Athanasius is the single person in the world who chose the 27 books that make up the New Testament. And he also decided that in order for the emperor to have something to worship that was a bigger god than the emperor of Rome, it had to be somebody 1 step higher. So Jesus had to be fully human, but fully divine. Arius almost believed that, but he believed Jesus was a creation of God, not coterminous or co-created with, but right next to. And therefore, that allowed all of humanity to do the spiritual path that Jesus basically took, or Buddha, or anyone who's enlightened could take this path and wake up to what we call their Christ consciousness. The Catholic Church wanted shame, guilt,
Yeah.
sin, and things I could control people with. Arius wanted workshops, metaphysics, things where you could wake up to the divinity that is inside of you. My modern day favorite phrase for describing us is that we humans are each a fractal shard of the Creator. We have divinity within us. God, we're not a human being which happens to have a soul. We are God itself that came down and is experiencing this world through us. We are the hands, the feet, the mind, the mouth of God on this plane in this dimension. God couldn't even experience third dimension without creating something that can work in this limitation. So human beings come in and we're experiencing it, working with each other. Now, the difference is Unity totally agrees with the basic philosophy that Arius was expressing, that we are here to be divine creatures, not worried about, am I saved? Everyone is saved because we're all God. Figure it out. We're all source. We're all pieces of source. There is no sin. In Unity, if we say the word sin, we meant error thinking. You had a wrong thought. Repentance is, change your mind, wake up. Go with the energy. Follow the higher spiritual path of knowing how divine we are. Jesus once said, do you not know you're gods? Now, I know the context that was told in the book of John and how he was quoting a psalm, but it's also been used to say that he was saying that he's not doing blasphemy in front of the Pharisees and everyone. He's stating a spiritual truth that we are all God, that we are all an emanation of the God force. And I totally believe that, 100%. So Unity is open, welcoming. You don't convert to Unity. You can come, you enjoy it, you take the workshops. If you're a member, it just means you want to vote for who's on the board of trustees and large financial transactions in the church. You never convert. You don't have to. It's open source kind of spirituality. We have many people. We tend to attract the most demographic in the recovering Catholics. We have many, many people who are Jewish, and everybody still says, well, I'm a Jew or I'm a Catholic, but I go to Unity. So that's how we're known. And we have about, a little less than 500 churches now. There were more before COVID, but there's hundreds that meet now online on Sundays.
Oh, sounds like it's open to all faiths, depending on where a person is on their path.
Yes, we meet you where
Yeah, you have also mentioned to me that Unity believes in our innate divinity. Rather than seeing people as sin or fallen. What does that mean? And how do you live within that belief?
Okay. As I had just mentioned, the Catholic Church would keep you in guilt and shame, wanting, and creating psychological drama and the need for shadow work. People who are brought up Catholic, and I deal with them every single day. So, and my grandmother and my family came from Catholicism. You're never good enough. You'll never measure up. You're shameful. You're never smart enough, pretty enough, nice enough, humble enough. It's always the not enoughs. Unity threw all of that away and said, you are enough. You are whole. You are complete. You are divine. So when you get over yourself and you throw all that shadow work out, not that you shouldn't do your shadow work, you should, because it'll haunt you if you don't. So you do your basic psychological shadow work. You clear out all those things in your subconscious And then you're open and you're free to be a very happy, joyous creature. And a true unitic, as we sometimes jokingly call ourselves, it's not an official term. Oh, you're a good unitic. That kind of a person is lovely to be around because they're fun, they're optimistic, they see the good in people, they see the bad in the world, but they don't buy into it. I can choose peace instead of whatever is going on in the world. I can be at peace. I can be centered. I can be in touch with the God force within me. I don't have to get frayed and frazzled by what is going on in the world and lose sleep over it. What good does that do anyway? You just worry yourself to death. It's impractical, and we're very practical. What is yours to do? And most of us, it's take care of our family, our friends, our church community, or just our local community, and walk into the food store with a smile on your face and make people's day. It can be as simple as that. Walk in
Oh,
spirit.
yeah, we appreciate you explaining that. Can you give people a little bit of insights of Unity? Where is it located? What is it? What is the structure kind of at the Unity in Venice? And a little bit more what to expect when they're there, and kind of like, what's your routine? A little bit more of what's offered there.
Okay, well, Unity sprang up in Kansas City, Missouri, which is still our headquarters. It's called Unity Village. It has its own mayor, sometimes its own electricity, and definitely its own water. In other words, it's a farming area that grew up and became the central hub for Unity. And to this day, they actually have an organic farm, and people go and buy vegetables. It's very cute. We're very proud of that. We think that's adorable because most of us come from cities and we're like, we have a farm at Unity Village. How cute. They also have a golf course and they have housing. You can stay there. It's actually a destination. They hold a tremendous number of retreats and events every year. Unity of Venice, which is at 125 North Jackson Road in Venice. It's North Jackson Road and Venice Avenue intersect, and we are right there on the left side. If you're coming down from the main part of Venice, it'll be on your left. And it has services every Sunday at 10:30 to about 11:45. We're a little long-winded. We have a professional set of musicians who are astounding. They're all show people. They've all done Broadway, off-Broadway, you name it. They're tops. I mean, they are the best. We are super proud to have them. We have a standard order of service, but it is not a typical everyday Lutheran style service. We have music. We have an inspirational reading. We have a meditation that goes on. We'll have a prosperity moment, reminding people that how you think will reflect in your finances. That was a big thing in Unity in the beginning. Health and finances were the two things we ended up being founded upon. And that's prosperity is how to manifest, how to think properly to manifest. Your negative thinking cuts off your flow of your financial well-being as well as your physical well-being. Important to know that how you think is what you're getting back. What you send out, you do get back in spades. So we just have a lovely service. And right after the service, every week, we have a huge luncheon that everyone's welcome to attend. It's potluck. Most churches have something like this. And we'll have 60 to 80 people who will actually stay. While the snowbirds are in town here in Florida, meaning the people who come from the north or Canada, who come down to enjoy the beautiful weather in Florida, when they are in town, we can have upwards of really close to 300 people on a Sunday. When they go away in the next few months, we're back down to about 110, 115. So we spend the year being half the size that we can be and being twice the size. And we cater to everybody who comes down. And we hold a lot of workshops for people all during the year. We're a program church. We're not just there on Sunday. There is literally one or more things happening at the church every single day. There's workshops. We do a Course in Miracles twice a week. That's a certain book, a field of study. I teach or facilitate the Way of Mastery on Wednesdays. We have sound bath, people who come, they do wonderful things. Here's my favorite sound bath instrument. It's called a kalimba. And it sounds like
I
this.
can see it. What is that?
It is a kalimba.
What is it? What is a kalimba? What does it do?
It makes these sounds. That's all it does. It's a little tiny musical instrument. And I will begin in meditation quietly and much slower than those, a lot of classes that I teach. So we have a lot of sound practice.
Yeah, sound.
Yeah, we do yoga. We have Reiki healers. We have a lot of stuff. There is about 12 things happening every week in the church. I am the associate minister and I can't even go to everything. It's just too much. I be there literally nonstop. But we have something for everyone. We really do.
And you also teach a meditation class there. Can you kind of describe what it's like and what this is about, your intention with that, and how you help people?
I periodically run a meditation course that's 5 weeks, 2 hours each week. So that ends up being 10 hours of instruction. It's intended for the beginner or the totally frustrated person who says, I've tried meditation. It's bullshit. I can't do it. I can't sit still. I can't think. Get out of my face. I'm like, oh, you're perfect. Come. We sit and I explain all the elements of meditation, of which there are many, and we practice them. I demonstrate them. I start off with the physical, how to sit, different ways to sit, shawls, prayer beads, music. I create the environment, very spiritual. It's like the first class, you feel like you're meeting a guru. I'm creating a picture for people when they come to have that experience, because it's not about me, it's about them. They will go deep within in that kind of an environment with the candles and the lights down and I'm all in white. And then we get into the real work of pranayama, understanding breath control, counted breaths, taking your breathing away from your autonomic nervous system, puts your entire body on notice. Something's happening different. She or he are doing something. They've taken away breath control. Why? Are we safe? Your whole body panics at first. But then from the ancient East, we have discovered that if you do things like breathe into a count of 4, hold it to the count of 8, breathe out to the count of 4, hold that now that you're empty to the count of 8. All these different counting mechanisms enliven your chakras in different ways in your energy centers. They wake you up, and it's part of enlightenment. In fact, in Hinduism and Buddhism, there is a belief that if you do nothing more than proper breathing exercises, you will hit enlightenment. It brings it in. I used to live in Hawaii for 45 years. And in Hawaii, we talk about, I wish you aloha. Aloha is wishing someone the breath of God. Ha is the breath of God. And ha is one of the sounds in pranayama. So I wish you the breath of God. We also go deeply into meditation and showing people that there's at least 5 steps to getting into meditation. There's relaxation, concentration, which is where people, their monkey mind takes them right out of the room. How to concentrate, how to use the seed thought, how to use one thing to do that. And then going into actual meditation and getting sort of an experience in the void, an experience inside yourself. And then as you come out, you try to remember what you experienced to be able to describe it, and you end with gratitude. So those are the 5 little steps to meditation and unity. And actually, every faith does that. They just may not label it. It's automatically the ones you're going to go through. So by the end of my 10 hours with people, they have experienced many different forms of meditation. I do have a book with 25 forms of meditation. I take them through about 8 of them in that time period. And by the time people are done, they know about tapping, right? They know about meditation, they know about chakras, they know about breathing, they know about using prayer beads or sound instruments like the kalimba. And they get to choose and go home and decide how, where, when they want to build a meditation life. And I'm always available for questions to people. And I run that periodically. I'm getting ready to run it again. My trick is to find space on the Unity calendar, because with 10 or 12 things a week, it is actually very hard to bring something new in. So I'm looking for an appropriate set of 5 weeks to begin it again. And I'm really excited. If people will do their shadow work, getting rid of all their subconscious garbage, wake up to their innate divinity that is in every person, maybe animals too, we think. In fact, definitely animals. We know that. We have a puppy. I'm sure she's in touch with God sometimes way more than I am. You're deeply aligned. You do all of these things, you blossom. The lotus flower, you blossom. That's actually the crown lotus. You blossom with enlightenment, and it's subtle and it's quiet, and you know it when it hits.
How can people sign up? Is there like a website for Unity that they can sign up?
There's a basic Unity website. You just Google Unity of Venice, 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 just like Italy, but it's Venice, Florida. And you can go on. Our church services are Sundays at 10:30, open to everyone. You don't have to do a thing. Just walk through the door and say, "Hi, I'm new," and we'll be happy to have you there. And on the first time you're there, you get a free lunch.
How can people get a hold of you? Is it through Unity, or how can people get a hold of you if they want to do the class, or they just want to reach out, they have questions?
Sure. I'll give my personal email. Use it judiciously, seriously. I'm at wordsleuth@hotmail.com, and let me spell that: WORD, and sleuth like a detective, SLEUTH @hotmail.com. You can reach me there, and we can take it from there. And you can also call the church office. It's on the website. I won't put out more numbers
It's out there.
but it's on the website, and you can go there. And you can also see everything that we're offering during the week. We have a weekly newsletter that comes out, but it's also on there. And we're on Facebook. Unity of Venice is on Facebook. So we're pretty easy to find, and we'd love to meet you. And we welcome you on your spiritual path wherever you are. There's no perfect person in Unity to join Unity. Wherever you are on your faith path, come on in. We'll find something on that level for you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. We love having you, Leslee, Reverend Leslee. We just love having you. We'll have you back on our show. We also have our information on our website at www.sherrylord.com. You can also click on the link and you can get right there to Unity. So we just bless you in all you offer and the Unity Church. And we just want to say thank you to all the people who are watching. We bless you with joy, peace, and harmony, and have an amazing day. Thank you again, Leslee, and all who are watching. Thank you.
Thank you. Blessings to all.
International psychic medium and podcast host Sherry Lord. She is one of the most sought after psychic mediums. Book your special readings. Go to www.sherrylord.com.